What is up, YouTube? And welcome to my bench. This is an active workbench right now, so just don't judge. There's a bunch of stuff everywhere. It's because I'm working on another RC helicopter. This is a Roban 800 size UH, I think it's the November model. I don't know. I'm building this for a friend of mine, and I wanted to go over a couple tips and tricks with these 800 size mechanics. Not necessarily Huey specific, but just Roban mechanics in general that I have found after building a few of these and that I think are useful to anybody who is building one of these and is just having a hell of a time reading the manual or figuring out information that's useful. One of the first things I'm going to go over is something I see a lot of confusion on in the forums and everything are these links. The manual doesn't really give the correct length of the links. Now the length of these links is not going to be the same, for each helicopter. This depends on what servos you use. Even though some standard servos, they're all, standard. Some servos, this servo head can be, a millimeter that way or a millimeter that way and not land in the exact same spot. So the way that I set these, there's two different ways you can do this. The first way is you can have your servo arm exactly 90 degrees to the servo, the way traditionally you do it on a helicopter, or the way you want to set it is to have this rod 90 degrees with the horn, which will put your servo horns at about that angle for the correct geometry. Either way is fine. It depends on a personal preference. What I do is I just set my servos 90 degrees, the traditional method. Now, these links, basically the outside ones from center to center are roughly 100 millimeters. And this middle link usually ends up, I think on both my helicopters, around like 95. So from center to center, this is like 97. It's about 95. It's probably because I'm rough measuring. But anyways, once you do that, you're going to have your receiver on and your servos are going to be centered, and you're going to look at these arms right here. Now the arms are, they go up and they're not like perfectly flat, but you want to make a perfect 90 degree line from here to there. Make that a right angle. Same thing back here. Up and over a right angle. It's off. I'm just doing this, by hand to show you. And then once you get that, typical, helicopter setup from then on. You're gonna flatten your swash plate as level as you can get it, and then build your way up to get from half stick up to 0 degrees of pitch right here. For me, I don't think the manual for this helicopter mentions it, but I think it mentions it in this helicopter, which is crazy because they're basically the same helicopter. And then the 412, which has a 4-blade head, has more information about motor mounting and the mechanics than both of these manuals do. So make sure if you are building one of these, kind of cross-reference the manuals and look what they say about each mechanic, because they all have useful information. They're just not all in one place. But anyways, so from center to center, it's not on there. I'm gonna pop it on for old YouTube's sake. So from center to center, roughly 111 millimeters or 110 millimeters, roughly. That's what got me 0 degrees of pitch on this. Let's see if it works on this too. Yep, about the same on this too. About 110 millimeters. That's my first tip that I'm gonna say with these mechanics. And yeah, I've had no issues even using the MKS, these reinforced plastic horns. Had no issues with it. For the tail, I like to use a slightly smaller horn, just so you're using more of the range of the actual servo. Oh, yeah. All right, my next tip regarding specifically the Huey or the 412 or anything is when you need to pull the mechanics out, you don't have to remove all of this stuff, this transmission and everything to get this out. You just have to unclip this ball link and put this up like this. Take this part off, which is the ball link, just loosen that screw and take that out. And then you can actually pull the tail cone off of the tail boom with the 45 degree still attached, which saves, you know, a bunch of time and headache, which still makes the mechanics easier to come out. So let's pull these mechanics real quick. Okay, coming in here, another tip with the Hueys that I've seen. Just the Hueys, I don't know about the other helicopters, but they use front posts where they mount. I use 2 washers to space it up. I've yet to find a solution for the tail to properly fit. So what happens is the tail boom comes up a little bit too high and you can't get it aligned to get the other half of the tail in without putting immense pressure on it that I feel uncomfortable flying. So I spaced the front of the mechanics to kind of tilt it back just a little bit, just enough to make it so where you're not having to put pressure to install the tail. And I had to do this with this one. I had to do that with that one. And my friend Steve, who I helped him with his, had to do it to his too. So I'm assuming this is gonna be pretty much all of these Hueys. You're gonna have to do that too. Okay, my next tip here, hopefully without doing a deep dive, is gonna be belt tension and belt alignment. So it's fairly important to have the belt tight, but not too tight. And it's really hard to explain this on YouTube, but there's ways to know. If your belt is too loose, the first thing you're gonna see, and it'll happen on the first flight, is this side right here, where the belt is basically being pushed, is going to flex out and hit this frame right here. And when it does that, you're gonna see a lot of dust build up from the belt, like rubber dust. That means your belt's too loose. If it's too tight, I mean, it'll be fine for a while, but eventually it's gonna, you know, start wearing these shafts and these gears and everything. Now, when you're getting your belt set up, you wanna make sure you're turning in the direction that it's gonna be turning when it's in flight. See how the belt is riding right in the middle of that gear? Now, some of these 800 mechanics are a little bit different in the sense of there's a bearing block down here. This is the newer version. The version of 800 mechanics or compactor mechanics that I have in this Huey are a little different. And what I noticed, the easiest way to tell which ones you have is plastic tail blades, older version, metal tail blades, and this gear. Let's see, right in the center of the screen, that gear, see there's a white gear and a black gear. This is the latest version. The older version has 2 white gears on it. Or a bearing block, that's another easy way to tell if you have the newest version. You need to adjust this pinion to the right amount to where that belt rides right in the middle, but it's not touching that bearing block, and it will be close. This is actually the most gap I've ever seen on one of these. Usually it's a lot closer than that. Now, when you're setting your belt tension, your motor screws are going to be loose. In this case with the Eco Drift, you're actually able to use all 4 screws. If you're using a Scorpion, you're only going to be able to use 2 screws. You're going to take these screws, snug them, and then loosen them just barely. And you're going to tighten these 2 screws very slowly to get your belt tension. As you can see right here, I'm pushing with very minimal pressure, like not even enough to like deflect my finger. And you can see how much I'm able to push it. It's really hard to demonstrate tension. I wish you guys can feel through YouTube this belt tension. This right here is on the edge of maybe the tight side, but I ran it and it sounds good and I don't think it's too tight. We're gonna find out. I may end up loosening it just a little bit, but that's about what you want right there. And then also make sure, like I said earlier, when you're making sure the belt's riding where you want it to ride, make sure you're turning the motor the direction it's gonna be turning, because see how it's in the middle? Look what happens when I start turning it backwards. See, the belt's riding up. So you'll be chasing this issue. And I start turning it the way it's going. And look at that. Belt returns back to the middle. This is one of those things where the manual just doesn't say anything about it. It's a little frustrating. But this is where I've had the most success. This Huey right here, I pulled the top off for this video, but I mean, it's got hundreds of flights, and my MD500 as well, the same mechanics as this Huey, has many flights on it. And I hope that this helicopter gets hundreds of flights out of it. Okay, I want to go into the next tip right here, which is going to include the rotating assembly and issues that I've had with mine. One of the givens when building any remote control helicopter is you want to check for Loctite. Now Roban does a pretty good job actually of Loctiting their stuff. I've had basically every screw I've ever pulled out of a Roban helicopter has had some sort of Loctite on it. I think with the exception of the older versions had one side of the frame that was not Loctited, but the rotor head and everything has been pretty good being Loctited. Now, no matter what they say, I'm gonna pull these bearings out and put the kind of grease that I like to use in them and make sure that they're good to go. But one issue I have had with all of mine so far is these ball links coming loose. So what I would highly suggest is to pull your ball links when you build a new one of these and Loctite them. Same thing, make sure that this screw down here is tight and not going to come loose. I had one back out and it was on one thread, and I was about to fly the helicopter and I saw the swash had a little bit of wiggle in it, and when I wiggled it with my hand, it fell right off. I would have lost that helicopter for sure. So that's another pre-flight thing, is just wiggle your swash plate. It should be nice and rock solid. There's no anti-rotation bracket on it. This is, I mean, technically this is, but it should be nice and rock solid. Also, rotating assembly. This thing does not mention too well, and I believe the Marine version, the Huey, the UH1D version mentions it pretty well, but this is your phasing right here for your head. Now, this is important. So you need this flat part to be perfectly square with this flat. I'm not perfect, but as square as you can get it. So what I like to use is, I have a, I don't have it right now accessible, but I have a little block of metal that I made that sits on this flat and sits on this flat, and that's how I get the rotation on this. And then for the height, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 35 millimeters, they say on the manual. From the top of this, let's see, yeah, roughly 35 millimeters. what you do, I mean, you could measure at 35 if you want, but what you just need to ensure is that when you're half stick, you're zeroed out here, you're level here, you need to ensure that this is also 90 degrees. Make a 90 degree with it. And that will get you your height within the 35 millimeters that Roban suggests on one of their manuals for the Hueys. I can't remember which one. Another little tip that I see, and I see Roban, they give you shims for these, but you're able to shim this gear up and down in order to minimize play. You can see there's just a little bit of play in that gear. If I could, there we go. Same thing back here on the 45. You can actually shim these too, even though they don't really give you anything for those. And then same thing back, there goes my torque tube. That's gonna be the next tip. Same thing back here. Try to get as much of this play out as possible, while still, you know, keeping it smooth. It'll help you a lot with the longevity. If it's too tight, you're gonna build up heat and friction, and you're gonna have reduced runtime, increased wear. If it's too loose, you have the risk of it actually chipping and wiping out the gear and losing the tail itself. Don't wanna do that. So just make sure you give it a nice good once over. And if you need to install shims, you know, get in there and install them. Don't be scared. This is a pretty hefty investment in our little RC community, which is gonna go into my next tip right here. Okay, next tip, torque tubes. This is I don't know if it's controversial or not, but back, you know, years ago, there was issues with the Roban torque tubes because this tip right here is actually threaded on, and there was issues with these coming loose if you somehow, you know, managed to put it in the wrong way, and you would lose your tail. So nice, good, cheap assurance right here is, if you have a drill press, is to, let's see, about 5 millimeters behind that line, drill a hole, and just get yourself a piece of music wire. Let's see, like this. I don't know what size music wire this is, but it looks about right. About the size of 0.7 pencil lead, yeah, so that's 1 mil. So drill a hole, put the music wire in that hole, press it in. Obviously you want to drill the hole the same size as this. Press it in, cut it flush, and then get yourself a piece of heat shrink and put it over that to keep this from coming out. This is extremely cheap insurance to make sure that these can never unscrew. Is this still an issue with Roban? Don't know. Don't want to find out. So I pin them. That's really my only last tip for setting up these things. I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting, but if y'all are building one of these and you have any questions about it, feel free to, you know, drop it in the comments, and I'll try to help you as much as I can. I'm not into gatekeeping. I love helping people out in this hobby. I love seeing more people get into it. And lastly, I love a nice, simple setup, easy to fly machine, because that just makes you want to fly more. But yeah, if you found this video helpful, let me know. Subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you think I earned it, and we will see you on the next one.